You are chasing money like a dog chases its own tail, exhausting yourself in circles. And the tragedy is this: the moment you catch it, you will realize you have caught nothing at all. Your entire life wasted, your relationships destroyed, your spirit hollow. And for what? For numbers in a bank account that will mean absolutely nothing when you take your last breath. Listen to me carefully, because what I am about to share with you will either liberate you completely or disturb you so deeply that you will want to close this video and return to your comfortable illusions. But you are here at this age, between 45 and 60, perhaps feeling that something fundamental is missing, that despite everything you have accumulated or failed to accumulate, there is an emptiness that money has never filled and never will fill. You sense it, do you not? That gnawing feeling in the middle of the night when you cannot sleep, when the silence becomes too loud and your mind starts asking questions you have been avoiding for decades. I have watched thousands of people just like you sitting before me with tears in their eyes, successful by every social measure, yet completely bankrupt spiritually. They come to me and say, "Osho, I have everything. Why do I feel nothing?" And I tell them what I am telling you now. You have been pursuing the wrong thing, and the cost of this mistake is your entire life. You wake up every morning, and what is the first thing on your mind? Money. How to make it, how to keep it, how to make more of it. You go to work not because you love what you do, but because you need the paycheck. You tolerate people you do not respect. You compromise your values. You sacrifice time with those you love, and you tell yourself it is all worth it because one day, when you have enough money, then you will be happy, then you will be free, then you will finally live. But that day never comes, does it? Because enough is a horizon that keeps moving further away the closer you think you are getting to it. Let me paint you a picture. Something so common, it is almost universal. You are sitting at your kitchen table on a Sunday morning. The house is quiet. Your partner, if you still have one, is in another room, and there is a distance between you that has nothing to do with physical space. Your children, if they still speak to you, call out of obligation, not connection. You look at your bank statements, your investment portfolios, your retirement accounts, and you feel nothing. Or worse, you feel anxiety because it is still not enough. It will never be enough. You have spent 30, 40 years building this financial foundation, and you suddenly realize you have built a prison, not a palace. Now, here is what terrifies me for you, and what should terrify you about yourself. If you continue on this path, if you do not see what I am about to show you, you will reach the end of your life and experience the most horrific realization a human being can have. You will understand that you were given one precious life, one opportunity to experience existence, to love deeply, to create beauty, to know yourself, and you traded it all for the pursuit of something that has no intrinsic value whatsoever. Money is paper, it is numbers on a screen, it is a collective hallucination we have all agreed to participate in, and you have made it your God. Do you want to know what happens to people who never wake up from this hypnosis? They die with regrets so deep, so painful, that their last moments are filled not with peace but with anguish. They see clearly, finally, when it is too late, that the moments that mattered were the ones they ignored. The conversation with their child they were too busy to have. The sunset they did not notice because they were checking their phone. The love they did not express because they were too stressed about quarterly earnings. The passion they buried because it did not pay well. The adventure they postponed until retirement, and then they got sick, and then it was over. But it gets worse, and you need to hear this. While you are postponing your life, while you are sacrificing your present for a future that may never come, others are living. Right now, there are people with less money than you who are experiencing more joy, more love, more fulfillment than you can imagine. They have discovered the secret you are about to learn, and they are not waiting for permission from their bank account to be happy. They have understood that wealth and richness are not the same thing, that you can be rich in money and poor in spirit, or poor in money and wealthy beyond measure in the things that actually matter. And here is the part that should make you sit up and pay attention. The people in your life, the ones you love or once loved, they are not waiting for you to wake up. Your partner is not going to wait forever for you to finally have enough time for intimacy, for deep conversation, for adventure together. They will either leave, or worse, they will stay but emotionally disconnect, and you will live as strangers under the same roof. Your children are not going to pause their lives until you are ready to be present. They are growing, changing, living, and you are missing it. And one day, they will be adults who barely know you, and you will wonder why there is no closeness. And the answer will be simple. You were not there. You were too busy chasing money. Do you feel that tightness in your chest? That is fear, and it is appropriate. You should be afraid because time is the one thing you cannot buy back, and you are spending it recklessly, trading hours of your life for dollars, and it is the worst exchange rate in the universe. Every hour you spend in pursuit of money that you do not need, doing work that does not fulfill you, is an hour you will never get back, an hour of your life force, your consciousness, your existence gone forever. Now, let me make this even more uncomfortable for you. If you do not change, if you do not see what I am showing you in this video, you will not only lose your own life, you will become a model for others to waste theirs. Your children are watching you. They are learning from your behavior, not your words. You can tell them that family is important, that love matters, that happiness is the goal. But if your life demonstrates that money is the priority, that is what they will internalize. You will pass on this disease to the next generation, and they will suffer as you have suffered, and their children will suffer, and the cycle will continue until someone has the courage to break it. And what about your health? Do you think your body does not keep score? The stress you carry, the anxiety about money, the constant worry about having enough, about losing what you have, about comparing yourself to others, this is destroying you physically. Your blood pressure, your heart, your digestive system, your immune function, all of it is being compromised by your relationship with money. You are literally killing yourself for something that has no life in it. Money is dead, it is inert, and you are pouring your living energy into it like a person trying to resurrect a corpse. Here is what is at stake, and I want you to really let this sink in. You have perhaps 20, maybe 30 years left if you are lucky. That is it. That is all the time you have to experience being alive, to feel, to love, to grow, to discover who you really are beneath all the social conditioning and programming. And right now, you are on track to spend those years exactly as you spent the last 30 or 40, worried about money, pursuing money, thinking about money, and missing absolutely everything else. You will arrive at your deathbed, and I promise you this, you will not be thinking about money. You will be thinking about love you did not give, experiences you did not have, risks you did not take, truth you did not speak, and it will be too late. But it is not too late right now. This moment, you still have time. And that is why you must pay attention to what I am about to tell you, because this information, this understanding has the power to completely transform not just your relationship with money, but your entire experience of being alive. You can stop the insanity, you can step off the treadmill, you can wake up from the dream that has become a nightmare. But you must be willing to see something that society has worked very hard to hide from you. So let me ask you directly, are you ready to see the truth about money? Are you ready to understand why you have been chasing it and what happens when you stop? Because I warn you, once you see this, you cannot unsee it, and your life will never be the same. You will not be able to go back to sleep. You will not be able to participate in the collective madness with the same unconsciousness, and that will make you different. That will separate you from the crowd, and that takes courage. Take a breath. Feel your body. Notice that you are alive right now, in this moment. This is not a rehearsal. This is your actual life happening. And how you spend the next few hours listening to me, and more importantly, how you spend the days and years after this, will determine whether you look back with satisfaction or with soul-crushing regret. The choice is yours, but you must choose, because not choosing is also a choice, and it is a choice for more of the same. Now, let me tell you a story, a true story, about a man who came to see me many years ago. He was 53 years old, successful businessman, owned several companies, had accumulated significant wealth. He came to the ashram in a Mercedes, wore an expensive watch, carried himself with the confidence that money often brings. But when he sat before me, when the doors were closed and the masks came off, he wept like a child. He told me he had just come from his daughter's wedding, and during the ceremony, when the father is supposed to give the bride away, his daughter had asked her uncle to do it instead. Her uncle, who was a school teacher, who had very little money, but who had been present in her life, who had come to her school plays, who had listened to her problems, who had been there. This man, this wealthy man, had been too busy building his empire. He had missed the moments, and now his daughter did not want him in the most important moment of her life. He said to me, "Osho, I have $10 million, and I would give every penny of it to go back and do it differently." And I told him what I am telling you. You cannot go back, but you can stop right now. You can change direction right now. But first, you must understand what money really is. and what it is not. Money is a tool, nothing more. It is a medium of exchange, a convenience that society created to facilitate trade. It has no value in itself, it only has value because we agree it has value. If you were alone on an island, money would be worthless to you. You could not eat it, it would not keep you warm, it would not love you back. Its value is entirely contextual, entirely dependent on a social agreement. Yet you have made it the center of your life, the measure of your worth, the goal of your existence. Do you see the insanity of this? You are not your bank account. Your value as a human being has nothing to do with your net worth. You came into this world with nothing. You will leave with nothing. And in between, you have this brief opportunity to experience consciousness, to be aware, to love, to create, to explore the mystery of existence. But instead, you are spending your consciousness, your awareness, your precious attention on accumulating symbols, on gathering numbers, on playing a game that you cannot win because the game is designed to be unwinnable. The game of money is rigged from the start. There is always someone with more. There is always a new level to reach. There is always something else to buy. There is always a reason to worry. The goalposts keep moving. When you had nothing, you thought if you just had enough to be comfortable, you would be happy. Then you got comfortable and you thought if you just had enough to be secure, you would be happy. Then you got security and you thought if you just had enough to be wealthy, you would be happy. Then you got wealth and you realized that happiness was never in the money, it was always somewhere else, and you had been looking in the wrong direction your entire life. This is not to say that money is evil or that you should not have it. I am not one of those spiritual teachers who glorifies poverty. Poverty is not spiritual, it is simply uncomfortable. Money is useful, it can provide comfort, it can create opportunities, it can solve certain problems. But it cannot and will never provide meaning, purpose, love, fulfillment, or happiness. Those things come from an entirely different dimension of existence, and no amount of money can purchase them. What I am showing you is that your pursuit of money has become pathological. It has gone beyond utility into obsession. You are not using money, money is using you. It has become your master, and you have become its slave. You made decisions based not on what would make you happy, what would be meaningful, what would be aligned with your values, but on what would make you more money. You have inverted the relationship. Money should serve your life, but instead your life is serving money. And here is the mechanism of how this happened, because understanding this is crucial. From the time you were a child, you were programmed. Your parents, your teachers, society, the media, everyone told you the same message over and over. You need money to be successful, to be secure, to be respected, to be loved. You absorbed this message deeply into your unconscious mind. It became a belief system, a lens through which you see reality. And then you spent your entire adult life trying to prove this belief true, trying to get money so that you could finally feel successful, secure, respected, loved. But here is what nobody told you. Those feelings do not come from money, they come from within you. Security is not a bank balance, it is a state of consciousness. Success is not an external achievement, it is an internal alignment with your authentic self. Respect is not something you earn through wealth, it is something you command through integrity. Love is not something you can buy or attract through status, it is something you experience when you open your heart. You have been trying to get from the outside what can only be found on the inside, and that is why you are exhausted. That is why it is not working. That is why no matter how much you accumulate, it never feels like enough. Let me give you a practical example. Think about a time when you felt truly happy, genuinely joyful, completely alive. Was it when you checked your bank account? Was it when you made a big purchase? Or was it a moment of connection, a moment of presence, a moment of beauty, a moment of love? If you are honest, you will realize that your happiest moments had little or nothing to do with money. They were moments when you were fully present, when you were connected to yourself or to another person or to life itself. I remember walking in the garden early one morning. The sun was just rising, the birds were singing, there was dew on the flowers, and I was filled with such overwhelming joy, such gratitude for existence, and I had no money in my pocket. I owned nothing, and yet I felt like the richest man alive. That is real wealth. That is what you are actually seeking when you chase money, but you are looking in the wrong place. Now, you might be thinking, Osho, this is all very nice, very poetic, but I live in the real world. I have bills to pay. I have responsibilities. I cannot just stop caring about money. And I am not asking you to stop caring about money. I am asking you to stop being possessed by it, to stop making it the center of your universe, to stop sacrificing everything that matters for something that does not. Here is what I want you to understand, and this is critical. When you stop pursuing money as the primary goal, when you shift your focus to what actually matters, to meaning, to purpose, to love, to growth, to contribution, something miraculous happens. Money starts to flow more easily, not because you are chasing it, but because you are aligned with yourself. You are doing what you are meant to do. You are giving your gifts, and money comes as a natural byproduct, not as the goal. I have seen this happen thousands of times. People come to me stressed, anxious, working jobs they hate, barely making ends meet despite working constantly. I tell them to stop, to take time to discover what they actually care about, what they are passionate about, what they would do even if they were not paid. They think I am crazy. They say they cannot afford to do that. They need the money. But the ones who have the courage to listen, to take the risk, to follow their inner calling, they discover that life supports them in ways they could never have imagined. Opportunities appear, resources show up, money comes, but now it is not the goal, it is simply the fuel that allows them to do what they love. This is because the universe, life, existence, whatever you want to call it, responds to authenticity. When you are being true to yourself, when you are aligned with your purpose, you have a natural magnetism, a charisma, an energy that attracts what you need. But when you are forcing, when you are chasing, when you are coming from fear and lack, you repel the very things you are trying to attract. Your energy is desperate, needy, and that is not attractive to anyone or anything. So the first step, the first fundamental shift you must make is to stop defining yourself by your relationship to money. You are not your income. You are not your debt. You are not your net worth. You are a conscious being having a human experience, and that consciousness is infinitely more valuable than any amount of money. When you start to identify with your consciousness, with your awareness, with your being, rather than with your having, everything changes. Let me give you a practical exercise right now. Close your eyes for a moment, take a deep breath, and ask yourself this question: who am I without my money, without my possessions, without my achievements, without my roles? Who is here being aware right now? Can you feel that presence, that awareness, that is reading these words, that is hearing my voice? That is who you really are. That is the you that existed before you had any money and will exist after all your money is gone. That is your true identity. And when you connect with that, when you live from that place, money becomes irrelevant to your sense of self. This does not mean you become irresponsible or that you stop earning money. It means you stop being neurotic about it. You earn what you need, you do work that is meaningful, and you do not sacrifice your life, your relationships, your health, your spirit for the accumulation of more. You live richly, not because you have a lot of money, but because you are present, because you are connected, because you are alive in the deepest sense of the word. Now, let us talk about what happens in your relationships when money is your primary focus, because this is where the cost becomes most visible and most painful. When money is your God, everything else becomes secondary, including the people you claim to love. Your partner becomes someone you live with but do not really connect with because you are too tired, too stressed, too preoccupied. Your children become obligations rather than joys because they require time and energy that you think you need to spend on earning. Your friendships fade because you do not invest in them. You are too busy. And here is the terrible irony. You tell yourself you are doing this for them, for your family, to provide for them, to give them a good life. But what they actually want, what they actually need is you. Not your money, you. Your presence, your attention, your love, your time. A child does not care if they live in a big house or a small house. They care whether their parent is present and loving. A partner does not need luxury. They need intimacy and connection. But you have convinced yourself that providing money is the same as providing love, and it is not. It is not even close. I have seen marriages destroyed by the pursuit of money, one partner working constantly, the other feeling neglected and alone. They live like roommates, not lovers. There is no passion, no intimacy, no real communication. They stay together out of habit or for the children, or because separating would be financially complicated. But the love is gone, the connection is gone, and both are lonely, even though they share a bed. Is this what you want? Is this what you are working so hard for? And if you are single, if you are alone, ask yourself honestly, is your pursuit of money making you more attractive or less attractive? Are you becoming more interesting, more vibrant, more alive, or are you becoming more stressed, more tired, more closed? Do you have time and energy for dating, for romance, for building a relationship, or are you telling yourself you will do that later, after you have made enough money? And how is that working for you? Are you becoming more capable of love or less capable? The truth is that the pursuit of money often makes people less attractive, less available, less capable of real intimacy. They become hard, defended, transactional. They start to see relationships through the lens of cost and benefit. They lose their softness, their vulnerability, their capacity for spontaneity and joy. They become calculating machines, always thinking about the next deal, the next opportunity, the next dollar, and there is no space left for love. If you want healthy relationships, if you want real love, you must be willing to prioritize it, to give it time, to give it energy, to give it your presence. And that means saying no to some money opportunities. It means not working 80 hours a week. It means choosing connection over accumulation. And I promise you, the joy you will experience from a loving relationship is worth infinitely more than the extra money you would have made working those extra hours. Let me tell you about another person who came to me, a woman in her mid-50s. She had been married for 25 years. Her husband was a good man, a provider, but he was never home. He worked constantly, built a successful business, made a lot of money. She lived in a beautiful house, drove a nice car, had everything money could buy except the one thing she actually wanted: her husband's presence. For years, she complained. She asked him to work less, to spend time with her, but he always had an excuse, always one more deal, one more project, one more goal to reach. Finally, she stopped asking. She stopped complaining. She became quiet. And he did not even notice because he was too busy. Then one day, she told him she wanted a divorce. He was shocked. He could not understand it. He said, "But I have given you everything." And she said, "You gave me everything except yourself. And that is the only thing I wanted. Now it is too late. I do not love you anymore. I do not even know you. You are a stranger who pays the bills." He came to me devastated, wanting to know how to win her back. And I told him the truth. You cannot, because you did not lose her in a moment. You lost her gradually over 25 years of choosing money over connection. And now she has moved on internally. She has closed her heart to you, and no amount of money can open it again. He learned the hardest lesson of his life. You cannot buy back time. You cannot buy back love. You cannot buy back presence. Do not let this be you. Do not wake up one day to find that the people you love have become strangers, that they have given up on you, that they have closed their hearts because you were not there. It happens slowly, so slowly you do not notice, and then suddenly it is done, and it is irreversible. The time to change is now, not later, not when you have made enough money, not when you retire, now. And what about your own inner life, your relationship with yourself? When you are constantly pursuing money, when your mind is always calculating, strategizing, worrying, there is no space for self-reflection, for meditation, for simply being. You become a doing machine and you forget how to be. You lose touch with yourself, with your own depths, with the stillness and silence that is your true nature. This is perhaps the greatest cost of all. You can lose relationships and still recover. You can lose money and make it back. But if you lose yourself, if you lose connection with your own being, you have lost everything. And This is what happens to most people. They spend their whole lives chasing external goals, and they never take time to go inward, to discover who they really are, to explore their own consciousness, and they die as strangers to themselves. I am inviting you to a different way of living, a way where you are not driven by external goals but guided by internal wisdom, a way where you do not measure your worth by your bank account but by your peace, your joy, your love, your growth, a way where money is a tool you use consciously, not a master you serve unconsciously. This is the way of awareness, the way of meditation, the way of being fully alive. Now, let us get very practical, because I know some of you are thinking, this all sounds beautiful, Osho, but how do I actually do this? How do I stop pursuing money when I have bills to pay, when I have responsibilities, when I have been conditioned my whole life to believe that money is the answer? Let me give you a step-by-step process, a clear path that you can follow starting today. Step 1. Awareness. You cannot change what you are not aware of. So the first step is to become aware of your actual relationship with money. Not what you think it is, not what you want it to be, but what it actually is. For the next week, I want you to notice every time you think about money, every time you check your bank account, every time you worry about not having enough, every time you fantasize about having more, every time you make a decision based on money rather than on what you actually want. Just notice. Do not judge. Do not try to change it yet. Just become aware of how much of your mental and emotional energy is consumed by money. Most people, when they do this exercise, are shocked. They realize they think about money dozens, maybe hundreds of times a day. It is like a constant background program running in their mind, creating anxiety, creating desire, creating comparison, creating suffering. Just becoming aware of this is the beginning of freedom, because awareness itself starts to dissolve unconscious patterns. Step 2. Question your beliefs. You have beliefs about money that you have never examined. Beliefs like, I need a lot of money to be secure. I need money to be respected. I need money to be happy. More money equals more success. I am not enough without money. These beliefs are running your life, and most of them are not even yours. They were programmed into you by society. So question them. Ask yourself, is this actually true? Do I have evidence for this? What would happen if I did not believe this? For example, take the belief, I need a lot of money to be secure. Is this true? What is security really? Is someone with $10 million more secure than someone with 100,000? They might feel more secure, but are they actually more secure? They can still get sick, they can still lose people they love, they can still die. Real security is not financial, it is psychological and spiritual. It comes from trusting yourself, from trusting life, from being at peace with uncertainty. When you realize this, the desperate pursuit of money for security starts to lose its grip on you. Go through each of your beliefs about money and question them rigorously. You will find that most of them collapse under examination. And when your beliefs change, your behavior changes automatically. Step 3. Define enough. One of the reasons you keep pursuing money is that you have never defined what enough actually is. Enough keeps moving. It is always just a little more than you have now. So sit down and actually calculate, how much money do I need to live comfortably? Not luxuriously, not to impress others, but to meet my actual needs and have some cushion for emergencies and some money for experiences I enjoy. Write down a specific number. For most people, when they do this honestly, they realize they already have enough, or they are very close to having enough. The problem is not that they do not have enough money. The problem is that they have not defined enough. So they are chasing an infinite target, which is a recipe for eternal dissatisfaction. Once you have defined enough, you can make a radical decision. Once I reach this amount, I will stop pursuing more money as a primary goal. I will maintain this level, but I will not sacrifice my life, my relationships, my health, my spirit to accumulate beyond this point. This single decision can liberate you completely. Step 4. Shift your focus from getting to giving. This is a profound shift that changes everything. Instead of asking, how can I make more money? Start asking, how can I give more value? How can I contribute? How can I serve? How can I use my gifts to make a difference? When your focus shifts from getting to giving, from taking to contributing, you align with a different energy, a creative energy rather than a fearful energy. And here is what is magical. When you focus on giving value, on contributing, on serving, money comes as a natural result. Not because you are chasing it, but because people want to support those who are genuinely contributing. You stop being needy and desperate. You start being generous and abundant, and that attracts resources to you. I have lived this way my entire life. I have never pursued money. I have pursued truth. I have pursued sharing what I have discovered. I have pursued helping people wake up. And money has always come. Not because I chased it, but because when you are doing what you are meant to do, life supports you. This is a universal principle, but you have to trust it. You have to live it. You cannot just believe it intellectually. Step 5. Invest in experiences, not things. Research in psychology has shown conclusively that experiences bring more lasting happiness than material possessions. A new car gives you a brief spike of pleasure, then you adapt to it and it becomes normal. But a meaningful experience, a trip, a concert, a deep conversation, a moment of connection, these create memories and meaning that last a lifetime. So if you have money to spend, spend it on experiences, especially shared experiences with people you love. Take that trip you have been postponing. Have that adventure. Create those memories, because at the end of your life, you will not remember the things you bought. You will remember the experiences you had and the people you shared them with. Step 6. Practice gratitude. Gratitude is the antidote to the constant craving for more. When you are grateful for what you have, you feel abundant, you feel rich, regardless of how much money you have. But when you are always focused on what you do not have, you feel poor, you feel lacking, even if you have millions. Every day, take a few minutes to consciously appreciate what you have. Not just material things, but everything. Your health, your relationships, your abilities, your consciousness, the beauty of nature, the miracle of existence. When you practice gratitude regularly, your whole relationship with life changes. You stop being a beggar, always wanting more, and you become a king, recognizing the abundance that already surrounds you. Step 7. Meditate. This is the most important step, and it is the one most people resist because it seems to have nothing to do with money, but it has everything to do with freedom. Meditation is the practice of being present, of watching your mind, of connecting with your inner stillness. When you meditate regularly, you start to see that you are not your thoughts, you are not your desires, you are not your fears, you are the awareness in which all of these arise. This creates a distance, a space between you and your conditioning. You can see your money thoughts arising, but you do not have to believe them. You do not have to act on them. You can choose. This is freedom. This is power. Not the power to control external circumstances, but the power to choose your response, to choose where you place your attention, to choose what you value. I recommend at least 20 minutes of meditation every day. Just sitting silently, watching your breath, watching your thoughts, not trying to change anything, just being aware. This simple practice will transform your life more than any amount of money ever could. Step 8. Simplify your life. Most people complicate their lives in pursuit of more, and then they need more money to maintain the complications. Big house means big mortgage, big maintenance, big stress. Expensive car means expensive insurance, expensive repairs, constant worry about scratches and theft. Complicated lifestyle means you need a high income to sustain it, which means you are trapped. What if you simplified? What if you lived in a smaller, more manageable space? What if you drove a reliable but modest car? What if you reduced your expenses significantly? Suddenly, you need less money, which means you have more freedom. You can work less, you can take risks, you can pursue meaningful work even if it pays less. You can say no to soul-crushing jobs. Simplicity is not poverty, it is freedom. It is choosing to have less stuff so you can have more life. And I promise you, once you experience the freedom of simplicity, you will never want to go back to the complicated, expensive lifestyle that was imprisoning you. Step 9. Invest in your growth. The best investment you can make is not in stocks or real estate. It is in yourself, in your education, your skills, your health, your emotional intelligence, your spiritual development. When you invest in yourself, you become more capable, more creative, more resilient, more valuable. And this translates into both more income potential and more life satisfaction. Read books, take courses, work with teachers and mentors, go to therapy, attend retreats, develop your talents. Every dollar and every hour you invest in your own growth will return to you multiplied, not just in money, but in quality of life. Step 10. Create multiple streams of meaning. Most people have one stream of income and no streams of meaning. They work a job they do not care about to make money, and they have no other source of purpose or fulfillment. This is a dangerous situation because if they lose the job, they lose everything. Instead, create multiple streams of meaning in your life. Have your work, but also have creative projects, have service activities, have learning pursuits, have relationships, have hobbies. When your life is rich with meaning from multiple sources, you are not dependent on any single one, and you are much more resilient and much more fulfilled. Now, I want to address something that might be coming up for you. You might be thinking, Osho, I am too old to change. I have been living this way for 40 or 50 years. It is too late for me. And I want to tell you very directly, this is nonsense. It is never too late to wake up. It is never too late to change direction. It is never too late to start living authentically. Yes, you cannot get back the years you have already spent, but you can absolutely change how you spend the years you have left. I have seen people in their 60s, 70s, even 80s make radical changes and experience more aliveness, more joy, more meaning in their final years than they did in all the years before. The key is to stop waiting, to stop making excuses, to stop saying later, and to start now, right now, today, this moment. What is one thing you could do today, right now, that would be a step toward freedom from money obsession? Could you cancel a subscription you do not need? Could you call someone you love and have a real conversation? Could you sit in silence for 10 minutes? Could you write down what enough actually means for you? Could you say no to overtime and yes to being present with your family? Do something, anything that represents a shift in priority from money to meaning, and then do something tomorrow and the next day. Small steps, consistent steps in a new direction. You do not have to make a dramatic change all at once. In fact, dramatic changes usually do not last. What lasts is small, sustainable changes repeated over time. This is how you transform your life, not through one big decision, but through 1,000 small decisions. Each one choosing presence over pursuit, meaning over money, being over having. Let me tell you what your life could look like if you make this shift. Imagine waking up in the morning and your first thought is not about money, but about gratitude, about the day ahead, about what you want to create or experience. Imagine going to work, if you still work, not because you desperately need the money, but because you find the work meaningful or at least acceptable, and you know it is funding a life you actually enjoy. Imagine having time in your day for things that matter: a walk in nature, a conversation with a friend, reading a book that expands your mind, playing with your grandchildren if you have them, pursuing a creative hobby, simply sitting and being present. Imagine your relationships deepening because you are actually there, not physically present, but mentally absent, but truly there, listening, connecting, loving. Imagine looking at your bank account and feeling neutral, not anxious, not obsessed, just neutral. It is a number, it serves a function, but it does not define you, it does not control you, it does not occupy your thoughts constantly. Imagine feeling secure, not because you have a lot of money, but because you trust yourself, you trust life. You know that you are resourceful and that you will be okay no matter what happens. Imagine lying down at night and feeling peaceful, feeling satisfied with how you spent your day, not because you made a lot of money, but because you lived in alignment with your values, you were present, you contributed something, you loved someone, you grew a little. And imagine years from now, looking back on your life and feeling good about how you lived, knowing that you did not waste your precious time chasing something that does not matter, but instead you invested it in what does matter. This is available to you. This is not a fantasy. This is a real possibility, but you have to choose it. You have to be willing to go against the conditioning, against the crowd, against the voice in your head that says you need more, more, more. You have to be willing to define success differently, to measure wealth differently, to live differently. And yes, some people will not understand. Some people will think you are crazy for not pursuing more money, for choosing time over income, for simplifying instead of accumulating. Let them think what they want. You are not living for their approval. You are living for your own fulfillment, your own peace, your own authenticity. And the people who matter, the people who are awake, they will understand. They will respect you. They might even be inspired by you. Now, let us go deeper into the spiritual dimension of this, because ultimately, your relationship with money is a reflection of your relationship with life itself. When you are chasing money, you are operating from a belief in scarcity, a belief that there is not enough, that you are not enough, that you need to grasp and hoard and protect. This is a fear-based relationship with life. But the truth, the reality that you discover when you meditate, when you go inward, when you become present, is that life is abundant. Existence is overflowing. Look at nature. A single tree produces thousands of seeds, far more than necessary. The universe creates billions of galaxies, trillions of stars. There is no scarcity in nature. Scarcity is a human mental construct. When you align with this abundance, when you trust life, when you open your hands instead of clenching your fists, you discover that you are supported, that what you need comes to you, that you are part of an intelligent universe that takes care of its own. This is not wishful thinking. This is not new age fantasy. This is a reality that millions of people have discovered through direct experience. But you cannot discover this while you are in fear mode, while you are in grasping mode, while you are in scarcity consciousness. You have to take a leap of faith. You have to trust. You have to let go a little and see what happens. And what happens almost always is that you are supported, that life provides, that your needs are met, often in unexpected ways. I am not saying you should be irresponsible. I am not saying you should quit your job and sit under a tree waiting for money to fall from the sky. I am saying you should do your part, work, contribute, be responsible, but do it from a place of trust rather than fear, from abundance rather than scarcity, from love rather than anxiety. The outer actions might look similar, but the inner quality is completely different, and that inner quality determines your experience of life. When you work from fear, even if you make a lot of money, you suffer. When you work from love, from joy, from contribution, even if you make less money, you thrive. The money is not the determining factor. Your consciousness is the determining factor. And this is what I want you to understand deeply. You are not trying to change your circumstances. You are trying to change your consciousness. And when your consciousness changes, your circumstances change as a natural consequence. Let me share with you a meditation technique that is specifically designed to transform your relationship with money. I call it the abundance meditation. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, Now, bring to mind something you already have that you are grateful for. It could be your health, a relationship, ability, anything. Feel the gratitude for this. Let it fill your chest. Let it warm your heart. Now, say to yourself silently, I am abundant. I have this, and this is more valuable than any amount of money. Feel the truth of this. You are abundant. You do have things of value, and many of them are indeed more valuable than money. Stay with this feeling for a few minutes. Really let it sink in. Then expand your awareness. Notice your breath, the air that is freely available, that you do not have to pay for, that keeps you alive. Notice the sunlight, the beauty of nature, the miracle of consciousness, all freely given, all abundant. Say to yourself, I am surrounded by abundance. I am part of abundance. I am abundance. Do this meditation for 10 to 15 minutes every day. What it does is reprogram your unconscious mind from scarcity to abundance. And when you feel abundant, you stop chasing, you stop grasping, you relax. And paradoxically, that is when things start flowing to you more easily. Another practice I recommend is what I call conscious spending. Every time you spend money, do it consciously. Before you buy something, pause and ask yourself, do I really need this, or am I buying it to fill an emotional hole? Am I buying it because I genuinely want it, or because advertising has convinced me I should want it? Will this purchase add real value to my life, or will it just add clutter? And when you do spend money on something you have decided is valuable, do it with full presence and gratitude. Appreciate the exchange. Appreciate that you have the money to spend. Appreciate what you are receiving. This transforms spending from an unconscious, often guilt-ridden activity into a conscious, appreciative activity. Similarly, practice conscious earning. Whatever work you do it with full presence and integrity. Do not just go through the motions to get the paycheck. Actually care about the quality of your work, about the value you are providing. When you earn money consciously with integrity, it feels different. It does not carry the same heaviness, the same sense of selling your soul. Now, let us talk about something that many people struggle with: the fear of not having enough money in the future, especially as you age. This is a legitimate concern, and I am not going to dismiss it with platitudes. Healthcare costs, potential loss of income, the need for care, these are real issues, especially in societies that do not have strong social safety nets. But here is what I want you to understand. No amount of money will ever make you feel completely secure about the future, because the future is uncertain by nature. You could have $10 million and still worry that it might not be enough, that you might lose it, that inflation might erode it, that some catastrophe might happen. The pursuit of financial security is often a disguised attempt to control the uncontrollable, to make the uncertain certain, and it cannot be done. Real security comes from a different place. It comes from knowing that you are resourceful, that you have dealt with challenges before and you can deal with them again. It comes from having strong relationships, because people who are connected, who have community, who have people who care about them, are more secure than isolated people with a lot of money. It comes from having skills and adaptability so that if circumstances change, you can change with them. And ultimately, it comes from a spiritual maturity that accepts uncertainty, that accepts that you cannot control everything, that makes peace with the fundamental insecurity of existence. This does not mean you do not plan, you do not save, you do not prepare. Of course, you do these things, they are wise and responsible, but you do them without anxiety, without obsession, without sacrificing your present for a future that may never come. You do what is reasonable and prudent, and then you let go and trust. I want to share with you a perspective that might be challenging but is ultimately liberating. You are going to die. I am going to die. Everyone you know is going to die. This is not morbid. This is simply true. And when you die, your money stays here. You cannot take it with you. So the question is, what do you want to do with the time you have between now and then? Do you want to spend it accumulating numbers in an account, or do you want to spend it living, loving, growing, experiencing, contributing? Do you want to arrive at death with a big bank account and a small life, or with a small bank account and a big life? I know which I would choose, and I think if you are honest, you know which you would choose too. This does not mean spending recklessly or being irresponsible. It means having enough, being responsible, and then focusing on what actually matters. It means being willing to spend money on experiences, on growth, on helping others, on things that create meaning and joy, rather than just hoarding it out of fear. There is a beautiful practice in some spiritual traditions called dana, or generosity. It is the practice of giving freely without expectation of return. When you give money to someone in need, when you donate to a cause you believe in, when you treat a friend to dinner, when you tip generously, you are practicing abundance consciousness. You are saying to yourself and to the universe, I have enough, I have more than enough, I can give. And something shifts when you do this regularly. The tight, clenched feeling around money starts to loosen. You stop being so afraid of losing it. You start to experience the joy of generosity, which is far greater than the joy of accumulation. You start to see money as energy that flows, not as something to be hoarded. I am not suggesting you give away money you need for your basic security. I am suggesting that once you have enough, you practice generosity with the surplus. See what happens. See how it feels. See how it changes your relationship with money and with life. Now, let me address those of you who are thinking, Osho, I do not have enough. I am in debt. I am struggling financially. How can I stop pursuing money when I barely have any? This is a valid question. And my answer is this. You need to pursue money enough to meet your basic needs and to get out of destructive debt. But even while you are doing this, you can change your relationship with it. You can work to earn money without making it your identity. You can be responsible about finances without being obsessed. You can take practical steps to improve your situation while also taking time for what matters: relationships, health, growth, presence. In fact, when you are balanced, when you are not just a stressed out, money pursuing machine, you are more creative, more resourceful, more capable, and you will likely improve your financial situation more effectively. Many people who are struggling financially are stuck in a scarcity mindset that actually perpetuates their struggle. They are so focused on lack, so anxious about not having enough, that they make poor decisions, they miss opportunities, they repel the very abundance they are seeking. When you can shift to an abundance mindset, even while you are in a difficult financial situation, things start to shift. How do you do this? By focusing on what you do have rather than what you do not have. By being grateful for whatever income you do receive. By looking for opportunities to give, even if it is just your time or your attention, because giving creates a sense of abundance. By trusting that you are resourceful and capable, by taking one small step at a time to improve your situation while also taking care of your inner life. I have seen people transform from poverty to prosperity, not primarily by working harder, but by changing their consciousness, by shifting from scarcity to abundance, from fear to trust, from grasping to allowing. This is not magic. This is psychology and spirituality working together. Let me give you another practical exercise. Make a list of all the abundance in your life that has nothing to do with money. Your health, if you have it, your relationships, your abilities and skills, your education and knowledge, your freedom, the beauty you can perceive, the love you can feel, the consciousness you have. Make this list long and detailed and read it every day. This will train your mind to see abundance rather than scarcity. Then make a plan for your finances that is realistic and responsible, but not based on fear. What do you actually need to earn to cover your basic needs? What steps can you take to increase your income or decrease your expenses? What skills could you develop that would make you more valuable in the marketplace? Write it down, make a plan, and then work the plan without anxiety, without obsession, just as something you do, like brushing your teeth, necessary but not the center of your life. And while you are working your plan, invest time every day in the things that actually create a rich life. Connection with yourself through meditation or reflection. Connection with others through quality time and conversation. Connection with your body through movement and good food. Connection with beauty through art or nature. Connection with meaning through learning or service or creativity. When you live this way, balanced, conscious, present, you will find that your financial situation improves. But more importantly, you will find that it matters less because you are already rich in the ways that count. Now, I want to talk about success because this is intimately connected with money for most people. You have been taught that success means making a lot of money, having a prestigious career, accumulating wealth and status. And by this definition, you might feel like a failure if you do not have these things, or you might feel like you have to keep pursuing more to be successful. But what if success is defined differently? What if success is living in alignment with your values? What if success is being present and loving in your relationships? What if success is growing and learning throughout your life? What if success is contributing something meaningful? What if success is being at peace with yourself? What if success is simply being fully alive, fully conscious, fully here? By these definitions, someone with very little money can be wildly successful, and someone with a lot of money can be a complete failure. And I would argue that these definitions are more accurate, more meaningful than the conventional definition based on wealth and status. So, I invite you to define success for yourself, not based on what society says, not based on what your parents wanted for you, not based on what your peers are doing, but based on what actually matters to you in your heart. Write it down. What does success mean to you? And then live according to that definition, not according to someone else's. When you do this, you free yourself from the exhausting race to keep up, to have more, to be more. You can relax into being yourself, into living your life, into measuring yourself by your own standards rather than external standards. This is liberation. Let me tell you about a man I knew who was considered a failure by conventional standards. He was a gardener, he made very little money, he lived simply, but he loved his work. He was present with the plants and the earth, he created beauty, he was kind to everyone he met, he had deep friendships, he read poetry, he meditated, he was at peace. When he died, dozens of people came to his funeral and spoke about how he had touched their lives, how his presence had been a gift. Was he a failure? I say he was a tremendous success, far more successful than many wealthy people I have known who died lonely and regretful. Success is not what you have, it is who you are and how you live. And when you understand this, when you really get this, you stop chasing external markers of success and you start cultivating internal qualities of success: presence, love, integrity, courage, wisdom, peace, joy. These are the real measures of a life well lived. Now, as we move toward the conclusion of our time together, I want to give you a framework, a way of thinking about your life that integrates everything we have discussed. Think of your life as having 4 dimensions: the material, the relational, the personal, and the spiritual. The material dimension includes your finances, your health, your physical environment. This dimension matters. It needs attention, but it is only 1/4 of your life, not the whole thing. You need enough money to be comfortable and secure. You need to take care of your health. You need a safe and pleasant place to live. Handle these things responsibly, but do not make them the center of your existence. The relational dimension includes your connections with other people, your partner, your children, your family, your friends, your community. This dimension is crucial for happiness and meaning. Invest time and energy here. Prioritize relationships. Be present with people. Love deeply. Communicate honestly. Repair ruptures. Build bridges. A rich relational life is worth more than any amount of money. The personal dimension includes your growth, your learning, your creativity, your interests, your self-knowledge. This is about becoming more fully yourself, developing your potential, exploring your passions, understanding your psychology, healing your wounds, expanding your capacities. This dimension gives your life depth and richness. The spiritual dimension includes your connection with something larger than yourself. Whether you call it God, the universe, consciousness, existence, life force, or simply the mystery. This dimension gives your life ultimate meaning. It connects you with the eternal. It provides peace and perspective. This is cultivated through meditation, through presence, through contemplation, through experiences of awe and transcendence. A balanced life attends to all four dimensions. Most people are out of balance. They focus almost entirely on the material dimension and neglect the other three. And then they wonder why they feel empty despite having material success. Or they focus on relationships but neglect their personal growth and spiritual development. Or they are very spiritual but completely irresponsible materially. The invitation is to bring balance, to give appropriate attention to each dimension. Not equal attention necessarily, but appropriate attention based on what each dimension needs. And here is what I have observed. When the spiritual dimension is strong, when you have a regular practice of meditation and presence, it naturally brings balance to the other three dimensions. You become more present in relationships, more motivated in your personal growth, and more relaxed and effective with material concerns. So if you take only one thing from everything I have said today, let it be this: develop a daily spiritual practice. Even just 20 minutes of sitting silently, watching your breath, being present with what is. This one practice will transform everything else. It will change your relationship with money, with people, with yourself, with life. It is the foundation upon which everything else is built. And let me be very clear about what meditation is and is not, because there is a lot of misunderstanding. Meditation is not concentration. It is not trying to control your mind. It is not trying to achieve some special state. It is not religious. It is not about believing anything. Meditation is simply the practice of being present, of watching without judgment, of allowing whatever is happening to happen while you remain aware. You sit, you close your eyes, you bring your attention to your breath, and you watch. Thoughts will come, that is natural. You do not try to stop them. You just notice them and let them pass like clouds in the sky. Feelings will come. You notice them and let them be. Sensations in your body will come. You notice them. You are not trying to change anything. You are just practicing being aware, being present, being the witness. This simple practice, done regularly, creates a space inside you, a stillness, a center that is not disturbed by external circumstances. From this center, you can respond to life rather than react. You can make choices rather than being driven by conditioning. You can be free. So here is your assignment if you choose to accept it. Starting today, commit to 20 minutes of meditation every day. Find a time. Morning is best, but whenever works for you. And sit. Just sit and be present. Do this for 30 days without missing a day. And observe what changes in your life. I promise you, if you do this sincerely, everything will begin to shift. And alongside your meditation practice, implement the practical steps we discussed. Become aware of your relationship with money. Question your beliefs. Define enough. Shift from getting to giving. Invest in experiences and relationships and growth. Simplify your life. Practice gratitude and generosity. These are not just ideas to think about. They are practices to live, and they will transform your experience of life. You are standing at a crossroads. One path leads to more of the same: pursuing money, postponing life, accumulating regrets, arriving at death having missed your own existence. The other path leads to presence, to meaning, to love, to growth, to a life fully lived. The choice is entirely yours, and you must choose, because not choosing is choosing the first path by default. I cannot make this choice for you. I can only show you what I have seen, share what I have learned, point you toward the door, but you must walk through it yourself. And I tell you honestly, it takes courage. It takes courage to go against the conditioning, to live differently, to prioritize meaning over money, to trust life, to let go of control, to be vulnerable, to be authentic. But this courage is available to you. It is already within you. You just have to access it. And you do not have to do it perfectly. You do not have to make a dramatic change overnight. You can start small, one step at a time, one choice at a time, one day at a time. What matters is that you start, that you turn in a new direction, that you wake up to what is actually happening in your life and make a conscious choice about how you want to live the time you have left. Remember, you are not your past. You are not your conditioning. You are not your bank account. You are consciousness. You are awareness. You are the one who is reading these words right now. And you have the power to choose, to change, to create a different experience of life starting now. I have given you everything I have to give on this subject. I have shown you the trap. I have shown you the cost. I have shown you the way out. I have given you practical steps. I have given you a spiritual framework. The rest is up to you. Will you continue sleepwalking through your life, or will you wake up? Will you continue sacrificing everything for money, or will you start living for what actually matters? The answer to these questions will determine the quality of your remaining years and ultimately whether you look back on your life with satisfaction or with regret. Choose wisely. Choose consciously. Choose now. And know this, I am not speaking to you from a place of judgment or superiority. I am speaking to you as a fellow human being who has also struggled, who has also been lost, who has also made mistakes, and who has found a way to live that is free, that is joyful, that is meaningful. What I have found is available to you. The peace I experience is available to you. The freedom I live is available to you. But you must want it more than you want money, more than you want security, more than you want approval, more than you want comfort. Are you ready? Are you willing? The door is open, but you must walk through it. And I promise you, on the other side is a life you cannot even imagine right now, a richness that has nothing to do with money and everything to do with being fully alive. So stop pursuing money, start living, stop postponing, start being present, stop accumulating, start experiencing, stop fearing, start trusting, stop doing. This is the revolution. This is the transformation. This is what it means to truly see what I have shown you today. Your life is waiting, not someday, not when you have enough money, not when circumstances are perfect. Now, right now, this moment. This is your life. This is all you have. This is all you will ever have. Do not waste another moment. Do not let another day pass in the unconscious pursuit of something that will never satisfy you. Wake up. Choose life. Choose presence. Choose love. Choose meaning. Choose yourself. And watch as everything transforms. Not because your circumstances change, although they might, but because you change, because your consciousness changes because you finally stop chasing and start living. This is my message to you. This is my gift to you. This is what I have seen and what I want you to see. You will stop pursuing money once you see this, once you really see it, once it penetrates beyond your intellect into your heart, into your being. And when you stop pursuing money, you will start living, really living, perhaps for the first time. And that is what I want for you. Not that you become wealthy, but that you become alive. Not that you succeed by society's standards, but that you succeed by the only standard that matters. Did you live fully? Did you love deeply? Did you grow continuously? Did you experience the miracle of your own consciousness? These are the questions that matter. These are the measures of a life well lived. So go now, not to pursue money, but to live. Go to be present with someone you love. Go to experience something beautiful. Go to sit in silence and meet yourself. Go to take one small step in a new direction. Go to choose meaning over money, presence over pursuit, being over having. And remember, I am with you in spirit, cheering you on, believing in your capacity to wake up, to change, to live authentically. You are not alone in this. Thousands have walked this path before you. Thousands are walking it now, and thousands will walk it after you. You are part of a lineage of those who have chosen consciousness over unconsciousness, presence over distraction, life over mere survival. Welcome to this path. Welcome to this journey. Welcome to your life. It has been waiting for you, and now